CSN Studios. We're over here about a mile away from Death Valley as the crow flies. Talking Tigers, all in with CSN. Presented by Ingles. Low prices, love the savings, love Ingles. Benson Ford over there in Easley, South Carolina. Ask for Mr. Crow and the sales staff over there at Benson Ford. They'd be glad to hook you up. Sales, service, maintenance, body shop, they got it all. Used cars, they got those as well. EVs, everything. And the guys at Oakway Tractor, Andy and the folks, family-owned business from decades and decades back over there in Oakway Tractor, on your way to Westminster on Highway 123, Sandifer Boulevard in Seneca, South Carolina. Look for the Kubota tractors, lots of orange in the parking lot. And it's Friday Pie Day, presented by Stoder's Pizza Joint, folks. And they sent over some apps today. Scrumptious. Just wait till I pull these out later on. We'll taste test those live here on the air on Friday Pie Day. It's football. But hey, guess what? I got soccer news. I got a little bit of award news we'll talk about. And then we're going to go right back into football coverage. I put a couple stories out in the last 24 hours. One is on the special teams unit and what's going on there with punters and kickers and returns. And the other one is an article on pretty much can the Tigers live up all the hype they're getting. And there's a lot of that going on. I mean, including, yours truly here. I'm pretty high on the team this year. I really am starting to get the returns out of camp have actually just emphasized my strengths of why I'm behind this team this year. And I'm usually pretty conservative with the Clemson year when I look at it. But this year is a year I really see some changes that have happened over the past 6 to 8 months with stuff going on in the program and everything. But man, I think it's going to affect the season in a big way. Hey, let's get into it. Friday Pie Day here at CSN. Lovely day outside. A little storm just came up here outside the studio. Getting warm. Going to have a warm week this week. I think Dabo's wanting that for the next couple weeks to acclimate his team into the heat and get them ready for a long season. But let's get in here and talk a little bit about what's going on. Soccer news, okay? Soccer, first program on the campus to have an actual event yesterday, live. The ladies went up to Ohio, up to Columbus, and fought hard into a 1-1 draw with the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think the Buckeyes were ranked 18th. Our Lady Tigers ended up with a 1-1 draw. The game, kicked off the 2025 campaign. It's a hard-fought 1-1 draw. Let's see here. Renee Lyles got her a goal. She broke that goal off in the first after scoring. She broke the 0-0 tie for scoring in the 31st minute, netting her 18th career goal, and off an assist from Harris. So the Tigers went there and fought hard. The men's team ranked number 1 in the country right now. They start off their season against Indiana, and that happens. I'm telling you, it isn't too much. It's a couple days away. Hold up, let me find out for you here. Hold on a second. I got it right here. They are literally going to open up with Indiana on the 21st, Thursday. That's the guess. Excuse me, that's wrong. That's Thursday the 21st in Bloomington. Okay, so that's next Thursday. The Tigers, number 1 ranked Tigers, will go up to play the Indiana Hoosiers, which is a storied and ballyhooed soccer program. And these two have played each other back and forth at the beginning of seasons for the last couple of years now. If I'm not mistaken, they came here last year, and I think they won a game here at Riggs. But that's a good one. Tigers were ranked number 1 in the nation in soccer, so know that one. Got to go from that over to awards. Cade Klubnik, again, just piling up the watch list awards. He has been announced by the All-State Sugar Bowl. Just so happens I'm wearing their shirt. The All-State Sugar Bowl announces that he's been added to the Manning Award watch list for the top quarterback in the country, and we kind of knew that going into it. He also got entered into the watch list for the Davey O'Brien. So Cade Klubnik's up for almost every big award that you can possibly get this year. So good for Cade, good for the Tigers. Again, I told you earlier this week when we were talking about the awards, when I was going over all the awards, I had never seen this many Tigers up on so many watch lists. So this roster is loaded, folks, with a lot of expectations. We'll put it that right now, okay? But, you should be feeling really good about this football team going into the season. the depth is starting to show up down there at the practice field is what I'm getting back from my returns from people around practice and my staffers being down there. That we're starting to see some depth being built. I hear Amari Adams is out there just wreaking havoc on everybody. I hear the running back situation is really coming together nicely. A little injury news. Footnote: Adam Randall sustained a slight injury, but he got back and played in the scrimmage yesterday, and I already had a couple big runs. Dabo's high on him. I think Randall will probably end up being your RB1, your running back one, your first guy that pops out on the field when they go out there on that first snap. And what a tool to have. Think about him out of the backfield. Think about what he can do in the passing game out of the backfield. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with him. Put him in motion out of the backfield as an X-wide receiver. He's going to be natural to him to roll out into motion and go somewhere and cut and go. So cool things can happen there. But let's get to what we're talking about. Again, we'll go back to the website, ClemsonSportsNews.com. I dropped a couple articles this week. You go in here and you pull up. We'll talk about the special teams guys first. I put an article up just yesterday about special teams, punter competition. Talk about the blocked field goal issues from last year, and what's the path to redemption for this year, because this is very important. A very important element of the game, especially when you get to places like Louisville, playing at South Carolina. These kicks are going to matter. The punter is going to matter, especially with a new guy. You had a guy sitting there for almost 6 years. You had not to wear, and prior to him, the other guy was there for almost 6 years. I mean, so for the last decade, Clemson hasn't had to worry about punting because you had two guys taking care of it. I mean, last year Swanson averaged 42.4 yards. He had 188 career punts. He set a school record with 17 consecutive games with at least a 40-yard punt. I never knew that until just now. I just did research before I did the article, but there you go. You're right. And I was down on him at the beginning of his career, and boy, he really stepped it up the last 2 years. He took his junior year. Swanson really took a step up, but man, last year he kind of leveled off. He didn't take it the next step, or he would have been in the NFL. As effective as he was as a weapon, as far as flipping the field, he was a great tool, and he was effective, and he was the word would be you could count on it. He was there. You knew that when you got into the punting situation, the ball was going to get off. And I can't recall how punt being blocked. I can't recall him having a punt block. I can't recall in his whole career. So that's another good thing. So Swanson, you got to replace a good piece. And Jack Smith's been there for a couple of years. He's a big kid, big, tall, lanky, 6'4" guy. I mean, can really knock. He's got a big leg, and Dabo talks about it too. Now, just yesterday, after the scrimmage, Dabo said that punting is still up in the air. It's still a contest. But he mentioned, again, Smith over and over. So I think Smith's got the leg up, no pun intended, on the punting battle. Okay? And in the article, I guess I've got it. It says punter Jack Smith takes the lead. You can take a listen. Now, let's go to the blocked field goals. Last year, Clemson had a field goal percentage of 62.5%. 60th in field goals made last year, 15 total. They ranked 114th nationally in field goal percentage, at 62.5%. I'll say that again, 114th. All right? Now, the primary culprit, poor field goal protection. Against Florida State, Louisville, Hauser had 4 field goals blocked, 2 in each game. And it was every single time it was the left side of the line that caved in, and it was all on the line. It was not on his get-off time. It was not on his anything that Hauser was doing was not the problem. It was all on the line. And I cannot believe it didn't get addressed in midseason, but it's something this year the other teams will be preying on. If there is a special teams glitch anywhere, they're going to be looking for it, because they're not going to find these glitches on the offense and the defense. They're going to have to find places to create mistakes in the Clemson game, period. And I think the special teams game is where they're going to look, because, again, the offense is tight on every level. The defense is tight on every level. And I just don't see where they're going to find the space. It's going to be hard for them to find the space that they need. So they're going to go to the special teams, find places, again, take advantage of a porous unit like that a field goal team was last year, and can cost you a game. I mean, literally, it could have cost us a game last year. All right, the return game, I mean, let's go kickoffs. Kickoff, for years we had Big T Potter, and the ball was just buried into the end zone, and we never worried about it. Last year, Gunn was pretty good at keeping the ball in the end zone. We didn't have anybody running the ball out. But you're going to face some guys this year that's going to scare you. You remember Kerryon Brown, the guy from Kentucky that did run one back on you last time, well, guess who he's playing for? He's going to be taking the ball back from LSU. Imagine he's back there for the first kick of the season and he decides to take one to the house because you didn't put the ball through the end zone the first kick of the year. So, Mr. Gunn, you're on watch. You better be just that this year. You better have a gun of a leg. Because it's going to be either him or Hoosier, one or two kicking off. And Gunn did it all last year because Hoosier did the majority of the place kicking as the season rolled on. The place kicking competition, there is not one, is what I'm hearing. I'm just hearing it's Hoosier. Nobody's even mentioned any other guys, so there you go. Return game. There's so many options here. But, what do you do there? You don't put your primary running backs back there or your primary receivers back there because you can risk injury. Look what happened in the ACC championship game. That was my biggest thing with C.J. Spiller running kickoff back in the day, was that he could get hurt on a kickoff return. But he never did, knock on wood. That's a long, but that's the problem you have there when you put your first tier guys back there to run kicks and stuff. So I'm thinking guys like Tyler Brown, again, Jay Haynes, we don't know what's going to be up with Jay. I don't know if Jay's going to make it back in time for the season to start with that knee injury. I don't think he's ready. Antonio Williams is a guy, but I wouldn't risk him. I wouldn't risk a first-team guy back there, but he's got great hands. But again, with the way everybody in college football now just pretty much gives up the kick anyway at the 25, who's it matter? But again, Gideon Davidson, another guy you could put back there. Tink Kelly, the converted wide receiver DB from Daniel High School, another guy you could put back there. There's a lot of guys. So I tell you, as we wrap up this, we'll talk about the kicking game. Again, go back, read the article, tell us what you think, throw a comment out there on the website. You can go and hit us up on Facebook and tell us what you think. Okay. When it comes to the season's expectations, that's our next topic here. So we go back to ClemsonSportsNews.com, and you're going to open it back up, and right there on the front page will be an article where I go, Clemson football 2025, can the Tigers live up to the preseason hype? It's simple, to the point, and you click on that bad boy, you open it up, and you're gonna hear me talk about this year's football team and all the media hype that's going on right now. Everybody's on the Clemson bandwagon right now. All the returns coming out of practice are glowing. Dabo even has a different kind of aura about him that I've never seen. He's got a little bit of quiet confidence I've noticed this year. I think he knows he's got some dudes. I think he knows and his practices have been going like he wants them to go. His team's reacting to him like he wants them to react. He's talking about leadership and all the things and the other variables that he expects from his team. He usually has to preach for a few games into the season. He's already starting to mention those now. Again, can they live up to the preseason hype? Again, you go in here and you look at the preseason hype. Greg McElroy has them number one in the country. They came in at number 4 in the AP, 6 in the coaches. A lot of analysts have got them between 1 and 5. You're a top 5 team any way you look at it. You're bringing back almost 80% of your output on offense, number 1 in the country. You're coming back with a quarterback that's poised to put out a Heisman campaign. You've got 3 of the best wide receivers, if not the entire wide receiving corps in the country. You match up with only maybe Ohio State and a couple of others, okay? Then you've got a defensive unit with a defensive coordinator who comes in with just known for able to take and pick offenses apart, and like he did with again last year, Ashton Jeanty, the leading rusher in the country last year in the playoffs. What had happened to him? They literally shut that dude down. Okay, and they Boise didn't have a chance against Penn State's defense. He had a plan for him. So this is the kind of guy, and you're going to match him up with the talent that's on Clemson's defense. T.J. Parker, Peter Woods, Khalil Barnes, Avion Terrell, Sammy Brown. Cave Hart. Amari Adams kid. Guys, wait till Amari Adams. You're going to have to watch. Amari Adams is going to force his way on the field this year, and people are going to go, whoa. What we're going to do? Somebody's going to in the transfer portal because this guy is going to. You got Vic Burley sitting back there. You got Stephon Green. Man, there is a ton of talent in that defensive line. So again, so deep, so athletic, and poised to do something really big this year. But again, everybody's writing about it. Everybody's talking about it. And man, I'm telling you, people call it rat poison. They call it all kinds of things. Don't talk about it. Let's go out there and play about it. But you have to talk about it. That's kind of what we do here. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm talking. We talk about it. You go and read the article. I compare Clemson to the top 5 over the last 10 years and the potentials to cross paths. Meaning, I'll compare them to Texas over the last 5 years. I compare them to Penn State over the last 5 years, Ohio State over the last 5 years, Georgia over the last 5 years, and how we could possibly cross paths with each of these teams and what it would look like. Okay? Now, the key to all this is to navigate past LSU, get past that first game, win that ball game, and then go from there. So, with that being said, guys, go to ClemsonSportsNews.com, read those articles, tell us what you think about them. Be sure to click on and like and share and tell everybody what you think about everything going on with ClemsonSportsNews.com. Visit our sponsors. They're everywhere on the website, on our social media. Guys, I just checked the social media. Our Facebook page, Clemson Sports News, the Facebook page, 6.3 million views in the last 28 days. I'll say that again. 6.3 million views in the last 28 days on our Facebook page alone. Okay? And I will share those analytics on the Facebook page today. Later on, you'll see them up there. So I'll throw them out there for everybody to see. But as I say that, it's Friday Pie Day here at Clemson Sports News. And that is brought to you by the folks at Stoner's Joint Pizza. And today I'm having what they call, this is an app, okay? And they call these bad boys Pep and Rollies, okay? I want you to check out what a Pep and Rollie looks like. That is a Pep and Rollie. You see that? It's garlic bread with pizza and cheese all rolled up in it. You see that? All right, let's give it a good taste. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. As usual, spot on. Spot on. The folks at Stoner's Pizza Joint have got it going on. And by the way, school's back in town. The kids are here. So that means new hours. The summer hours are over. They open at 11 a.m. every day now at Stoner's Pizza Joint starting on Monday. Always code 420. And tell those guys you saw them at Clemson Sports News. And just ask for Mr. Doug, who's there. Great dude. And Erica down in Florida, the marketing director, thanks again for sponsoring that great company with us. We love you guys. And guys, we're getting there. We're 2 weeks away come tomorrow. We're 2 weeks from kickoff. Next Friday, we'll be live at the Kiwi Marina. Kiwi Shores on the stage. I'll be there with special guests doing this show live. We'll be previewing the entire season and the ACC. Live from Kiwi Shores next week. That'll be presented by Ingalls, Benson Ford, and Kiwi Marina, Oakway Tractor, Kiwi Shores, all those folks. We'll have guests there from other sponsors on there with us, but giving some stuff. We'll do some Tiger trivia, ask you guys some questions there live and see if you can get some answers from beautiful Kiwi Marina right there next to the water, looking over the mountains. That'll be next Friday. And the following Friday, the 29th, the night before the LSU game, we're live at the Smoking Pig, the home for this show every Friday before a home game all season long. All right, guys, we will see you again on Monday at a new time. We will start 7 o'clock on Mondays from now on, okay? We'll see you then.